We like to talk to the greatest of all time, and we have that right here. David Teel, the GOAT of ACC Whisperers. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You went to this press conference today, but I want to know first, when you heard the news, what was your reaction to Tony's decision to call it, at least for now, a career?
Surprised on one hand, Adam, and not on another. Not surprised because Tony Bennett has made clear his dismay at the current state of intercollegiate athletics. But certainly surprised by the timing, having just attended Media Day
right.
in Charlotte. He has a scrimmage, or not he anymore, but his team has a scrimmage here at JPJ tomorrow morning. And the season is upon us. And to think that he would choose now to walk away made for curious timing, to say the least. But he said he and his wife went away this past weekend and talked about it. And Laurel Bennett was remarking to me, he talked, I listened. And he just talked his way through it. And this is the decision that he reached, that he is no longer the right man, much like Roy, that
right.
He decided, look, I can't give this all that I have anymore. I'm no longer the right person for this job. And, many of us may disagree, but when the man himself feels that, he's got to be true to himself.
David Teel is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at @ByDavidTeel on Twitter. The difference, of course, with Roy is that Roy did that in, April, right? Yeah. May. Did it in the spring, which gave North Carolina as much time as they wanted or needed to figure out what was next. Now, what was next for them was right there in front of them. It was Hubert Davis. And what Tony, the way this played out, and I'm not going to editorialize it because I don't know how it played out, but this did not give the University of Virginia time to figure that out. So Ron Sanchez, who's now in his second stint as an assistant, becomes the interim head coach. What do we know about the way the administration is looking at this situation? They had to have been caught blindsided as well.
A.D. Carla Williams, Adam, was on the West Coast when Tony called her Wednesday morning to tell her of his decision. And she said this morning that there will be a national search for his successor following the season.
I mean, it's a great job. So it has just about everything you would want. It has incredible fan support. It's a great academic institution. It has history and tradition and all of that. A legacy of great coaches, of which Tony Bennett is an enormous part. Well, she was in the footprint, at least. She was in the footprint of the ACC if she was on the West Coast, David. So
that's true.
It wasn't like she was out of the ACC region. How would you sum up Tony Bennett's 15 years? Kind of amazing that it was 15 years. How would you sum up his 15-year run?
Adam, in the first 59 seasons of ACC basketball, Virginia authored 12 winning conference seasons, 12 times in 59 years. Tony Bennett closed his coaching career at UVA with 13 consecutive winning ACC seasons. That is a streak that only Dean Smith and Mike Krzyzewski have attained.
That is a great way to put it. And honestly, you can do it. It's almost hard to do it justice. 6 times he finished first. How many times did Virginia finish first or tied for first in the 59 years before Tony Bennett?
Maybe a handful.
Right.
Jeff Jones tied for first once. Terry Holland did twice with Ralph. So, yeah. And he authored the most redemptive national championship that the sport has ever seen. And we all know. Good luck finding somebody to say something bad about how Tony Bennett has conducted himself or led his program. Good luck.
I mean, he oozes class. He really does. Is the only criticism I would offer is just the style, right? That to me that's my criticism of Virginia basketball, and I'm going to get somebody to X and O this with me later. But for me, the pace of the game is my only criticism because it doesn't meet with my what I like about basketball. But as I said before you came on, there's nothing sexier than winning. And it doesn't make a difference how you go about winning. When you winning, your fans love winning. They don't care what it looks like when you win. And they've put a handful of guys in the pros, too.
Oh, no, they put more than a handful of guys in the pros, Adam. And not only that, was there a segment of the fan base that was disgruntled about pace of play, style of play? Sure. But you've been in John Paul Jones Arena before. Yep. When that shot clock is winding down, these folks are on their feet. Mm-hmm. They're screaming their bloody heads off because they want to see the other team get a shot clock violation. That's how much Tony Bennett changed the culture.
I actually teased John Shire in year one when their pace was like high 200s. I teased John Shire about that. I'm like, we got to pick the pace up here, Coach. we're getting into Virginia territory here. So what is your sense about Ron Sanchez and chances of becoming the next non-interim head coach? I know they're going to do a national search, and it's a great job. It really is a great job. But what's your sense about Sanchez?
He better win a lot of games. He better win more games than he did at Charlotte.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
I mean, it went okay, but he's going to have to be better than okay.
It's a tough day for Virginia. They with football actually looking like it's showing signs that maybe Tony Elliott might be the right guy. And I guess they were starting to have that feeling with Bronco Mendenhall until he decided to leave. With Tony Elliott maybe being that guy, they were in a pretty good spot, especially with the way that some of their other sports are going, whether it's baseball, tennis, swimming. They've become a swimming powerhouse. All of those things, and now to have to go through a basketball coaching search, it's going to keep a lot of us busy. By David Teel on Twitter. Final thing, and I'll just leave it open for you. I know you spent a lot of time with Tony. What are your thoughts on a personal level with Tony Bennett calling it quits?
Tony Bennett today, Adam, was so in character. He hates the spotlight, but doggone it, when he's in it, he is awesome. And he was authentic, and he was emotional, and he was revealing. I thought he was great, and that's how I have always found him.
Yeah, he also said that he's not anti, the progress.
No.
But, all right, he thinks the players should get what they can get. He's not anti kids getting paid. What he is anti is the structure through which all of this is happening, and I applaud uttering collective bargaining because he did that repeatedly at ACC Media Days. We have to have that. I talked to Bubba Cunningham about that a couple of weeks ago. We should have collective bargaining because it protects the schools. It doesn't just protect the players. It protects the schools. They now know the lay of the land when they can do that. It's complicated, but especially the revenue-producing sports have to have it. And that's stuff that I have been beating a drum for a while, as you have. David Teel, I appreciate your time, man. I'm sure we'll check out your latest musings in the Daily Progress. But at by David Teel on Twitter, you are the GOAT. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Adam. Be well.
You got it. You too.